Coming to you live from Bamboom Towers, this is TFBN News. I'm your host Roogisan. I'm joined today by Eskimolander, and I would like to take the time to begin by saying Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you had a good festive season.
And a happy new year to you as well, Roogisan. Although perhaps a not so happy new year for game publishing company Interplay. At the end of December, DRM-free PC game platform GOG.com pulled the Descent game series from the site after Parallax Software, the game's developer, claimed that Interplay has not paid royalties since 2007. I'm still not sure why it took them so long to complain. I would have complained after about 2 months. But, everyone's different, I suppose.
Because
They're
reasons?
they're a much more patient person than I am.
Absolutely. They probably forgot they made the game, to be fair. I mean, who's actually heard of Descent?
Come on now, you don't want to bag on it too much. The next thing you know is they're going to pull the video down.
Good point. I'm actually going to go and look at how good Descent actually is once we've finished recording.
It's good to know. Continuing on, Matt Hosleg and Mike Kula, as Parallax representatives, made a statement that claimed several contact and reconciliation attempts have been made over the years, although they all went unanswered. Finally, they decided to serve Interplay an official notice for breach of contract. As a result, Interplay no longer has the right to sell the Descent games. They do, however, still own the trademark, which means that they can still make merchandise and stuff, although I've never seen someone walking around in a Descent hoodie, so not sure how well that's working out for them. Um, Toshlag also commented that GOG has taken down the game. This is the reason GOG has taken down the game, but Steam, for some reason, is still selling it, which, Steam, you might want to look into that.
That'll be
Just saying.
fine. In further unexpected starts to the year, a 9-year-old American boy opened his PlayStation 4 Uncharted bundle that he got for Christmas, only to find that his PS4 had been replaced by a slab of wood with a penis drawn on it, alongside the message from and balls with love.
Oh my.
Yeah, stepmother Kristen Lundy said, "He's crying and he's upset and he's in the playroom by himself. I was crushed." As it turns out, Santa's elves can't manufacture electronics at the North Pole. Instead, they
No
returned it.
shit.
Instead, they returned it to Target, who replaced it and gave him a $100 gift card. So I think the thing that we can all take away from this, and I'd like to get your opinion on this matter, is do you think it is ethical for Santa to be using elf labor at the North Pole?
Absolutely not. I mean, in this day and age, slavery in most parts of the world has been completely abolished, and the few places that still practice this barbaric custom are deeply frowned upon because of it. You'd think Santa, being the benevolent person that he's portrayed to be, would understand that it's not right to put uh, citizens, even if they are different than you, through such turmoil and, unjust pain. I mean, I don't even think he pays them. I mean, when I was a child, I used to put milk and cookies out every year for Santa, and not once did I ever put anything out for the elves. What does that tell you about his work policies?
That's absolutely disgusting.
Uh, Completely deplorable. Well, to go on with the theme of unexpected Christmas gifts, a dad in the UK received that in the form of a £4,000 credit card bill, which is just about $5,700 USD. He found this out after trying to make a purchase for some supplies for his store and having his credit card declined. He then called his bank and was forwarded to a fraud team where they discovered that the bill had been racked up by his 7-year-old son through paying for premium content in an iPad game called Jurassic World. Apparently, the kid had memorized his dad's Apple password and didn't understand that the things he bought cost real money. Infuriated, Dad Mohammed said that he was quite upset that neither Apple nor his credit card company had contacted him over the suspicious purchases, even though at one point his son spent nearly $2,000 USD in less than an hour. Um, Although luckily for him, after what I imagine was an extremely long phone call filled up of a lot of wait time and terrible elevator music, Apple did eventually refund him, and hopefully his son has now learned a very expensive lesson. Something I would like to know from you, though, what do you think? Do you think Apple can really be blamed for this situation?
I personally blame Jurassic World the game. One, for being so addictive that a poor child is hooked to the point that he's spending thousands of dollars of money that he doesn't have. I mean, that's a serious gambling problem right there.
I
I
really
mean,
think that
that child, he needs help. Something else that I'd like to ask is how much premium content can this game have that someone can physically buy £4,000 worth? I mean, what was he buying? Just the same thing over and over again, or was there actually different content that he was getting for this sort of money?
the article did mention that he was mostly buying upgrades for dinosaurs. I'm not quite sure what that means. I mean,
Extra
in my
teeth?
from I don't know, maybe they evolve. Apparently, dinosaurs evolve similar to Pokemon, and rather than experience points or stones, it's through money. It's just
Yeah, but that seems to
it,
be
it
a.
it sounds a lot like extortion to me.
I completely agree. Um, what was your question?
Whether Apple could be blamed for this.
Personally, I don't think Apple can be blamed at all. At the end of the day, their whole reason for existence is to make money, and they made £4,000 off of this guy until the dad caught on. So if I was in their position, I would have kept quiet and taken the money.
And now everyone knows that you're a crook.
I'm not a crook. I just enjoy financial. I don't know what word I'm looking for here.
Financial well-being,
Yes.
well-being to the detriment of others.
Well, you say tomato, I say tomato.
Well,
Um,
again, I do hope that this has been a very valuable lesson for their family.
absolutely. Speaking of valuable lessons, I'm pretty sure that the upcoming story is going to teach us all a very valuable lesson. It's going to teach us about being tenacious and sticking with your goals and achieving your dreams. In this particular case, a roller coaster tycoon player, he's built a ride which takes 210 real life days to complete. That is 3,000 in-game years. The player has been attempting to create the slowest possible ride. His previous attempt took a mere 60 real life hours to complete, so he's really upped his game with this one. Uh,
Only 60
Only
hours.
60 hours. He took advantage of the in-game mechanic whereby a roller coaster, which is traveling along a track of constant height, will have its speed exponentially decay towards zero, but it will never stop. So what I want to know is if a roller coaster ride actually lasted 3,000 years, would some sort of evolution take place before the ride was finished?
Well, firstly, I'd like to presume that the majority of the people on board would sort of just die before they reach the end, as it takes about 14 days to die without food and only 3 to die without water.
Well, naturally there would have to be some sort of food and water dispenser, as well as some sort of waste clearing device.
And well, if their needs were well met, I think what mostly would happen is just, I think there'd very quickly become an overpopulation crisis within the car, as that's just humans like repopulating. It's just sort of what they do. Um, if our 7 billion people on Earth isn't proof enough of that fact. But I think by the end, it's quite possible that we could evolve to have feathers or a tail or something. Although I think the
Fascinating.
most likely situation is people are going to get bored and figure out how to get out of the car and just walk home.
Bear in mind that the speed of the car is exponentially, and I'm quoting here, exponentially decaying towards zero. So at some point, it's going to be going at microscopic speeds. So they could probably just step out.
Assuming that there's not some sort of safety device holding them captive.
I'd imagine if there was a safety device holding them captive, they would not be able to reproduce,
Uh,
thereby solving the population crisis.
and thereby stopping the evolution.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can evolve in your seat. It's not a physical requirement that you have to be able to walk.
No, but you can't evolve without producing further generations. That's how evolution works. So,
Well, there is that, yeah. Anyway,
well,
moving on.
either way, I can't wait to see the final result of that ride. In the
Oh,
meantime,
just a quick point that I'm going to throw out there. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, which was the game that this was made on, is a very old game, but it is a whole lot of fun. So if you haven't make sure you go and play it. There is a new Roller Coaster Tycoon game called Roller Coaster Tycoon World, which is supposed to be out this year, so stay tuned for TFBN for further news on that.
I'd just like to add that that was not originally part of our script, and we are not sponsored by Roller Coaster Tycoon. Which I know it
Absolutely
seems like
not.
we're. I know it certainly seems like we've been giving them a lot of coverage lately.
But if Roller Coaster Tycoon would like to sponsor us, feel free to send me an email. And a copy of the game, that'd be great.
Heck, the copy of the game could count as the sponsor as far as I'm concerned.
I'm taking money as well, or at least pizza.
At least pizza. At least an order of Domino's or two. Come on.
Exactly.
Anyway, as I said, I can't wait to see the grand finale of that ride. In the meantime, though, let's speed on to the next story. See what I did there?
At exponential speeds.
News has come all the way from Russia that a man from Krasnoyarsk, which I'm sure I just completely butchered, has decided to sue Bethesda 500,000 rubles. Now, before you freak out, that's only about $7,000 USD for his Fallout 4 quote-unquote addiction, claiming it resulted in him losing his job, wife, and health. This is pretty impressive for only a month and a half of gaming, as that's how long Fallout 4 has been out. The man claims to have bought the game with the intention of only playing for a few days. I've heard that one from gamers before. I've said that one before. It's never only a few days.
Never.
He also said that he had no idea how addictive Fallout 4 could be. I would like to point out that if you don't know how addictive Fallout 4 can be, you've never heard of Fallout 4 and therefore must be living under a rock.
Absolutely.
I cannot believe that someone knows what a game is and has not heard of Fallout 4.
I completely agree.
Continuing on, he said he did not understand how addictive it could be, and it turns out that it's so addictive, in fact, that he claims it caused him to skip work until he was eventually terminated. Would you like to get back into your seat, Roogisan?
Technical difficulties. Again, more ants on my chair.
He just needs to stretch his legs, that's all.
I'm a panda,
It's
we're not
tiring
used to
sitting
sitting. Sorry, I've lost my place. Let me shuffle my notes.
Continuing on. It caused him to skip work until he was terminated, stop talking to his wife and friends, and become ill. Not long after his quote-unquote addiction began, his wife ended up leaving him, which spurred him to sue Bethesda for emotional distress. Roogisan, do you have any opinions on this case? I know I personally have quite a few, but...
No.
Really?
No, of course I do. I just wanted to say what you'd say. I personally, I think that it is a load of rubbish. You cannot become addicted to a game after a month. Even though Fallout 4 is an amazing game, I can't see any human being becoming so addicted that they don't turn up for work. Presumably that same job that bought Fallout 4 in the first place would cause your wife to leave and would affect your health in negative ways after only a month and a bit. It's a bit ridiculous. Yeah. What is your opinion on the suing saga?
To be honest, I think
it's
all quite stupid. I mean, I can believe that a gaming addiction can lead to these type of consequences over a period of several months or a year or more.
And plenty of health problems as well if you start injecting yourself with CDs and DVDs.
Who uses CDs anymore? Be honest.
I apologize. If you start smoking Steam downloads, you might have an issue.
I would like to know the process of that, just because I don't know how that would work.
I'll show you off
No
camera.
other reason, just thank you. I think the whole situation is really just quite stupid. I mean, gaming addiction can lead to these things, but not in the course of a month and a half. There's something. If this really happened to this man, there's something that happened beforehand that led up to this. It's not something that happened overnight. I've been addicted to games before, but I've never lost a job as a result. I also don't see how. Presumably, he's playing the game in his house, and presumably his wife also lives in this house.
You'd imagine so. It's a fair assumption.
I could sort of see getting addicted to a new game and not talking to your friends for a few days. But your wife, who lives in the same house as you,
and could
you
possibly cook your dinner.
you don't see her? You don't. And health issues. I mean, have you not eaten or drank or gone to the bathroom in an entire month and a half? Because
On,
if you have, you're dead.
on the plus side, anyone that can play a game continuously for a month and a half to the point where it costs them their job probably doesn't deserve to have a wife, so she's better off out of it.
Yeah, congratulations to her.
I think that's
Um,
the real moral of the story here, ladies. Uh, if your man spends too much time playing video games, find another one.
there's lots of them.
Yeah,
Most of them
just
aren't even that picky.
thank you for that. So I was sure that was aimed at me.
It wasn't aimed at you. It was just aimed at men in general.
Anyway, moving on from.
I did want to add, however, that I do think Bethesda should go ahead and just go through and pay the man. Don't mind me. Just
Coffee
going out
break.
for a walk. Going for a coffee break.
Uh,
Uh, I I think it's perfectly reasonable for Bethesda to simply pay the man, as I think, because as they go through this court trial, it is going to create a lot of publicity for them. And let's be honest, $7,000 is pretty cheap for this kind of advertising.
I also feel that they should pay the man in bottle caps. Seeing
Yes.
as he is addicted to Fallout 4, I think that would be something he would appreciate. Just have a
Also,
truck full of bottle caps turn up outside your house. Ah, brilliant.
oh jeez.
Moving on to our next story. A brand new console is on the way. It is called the Coleco Chameleon, and it is the first cartridge-based console in just over 20 years. It can play 8, 16, and 32-bit games. And I'm very excited by this because I love the whole sort of retro, you know, Sega Genesis and the NES sort of whole era. It's where I sort of started gaming, and I'm super excited that they're bringing cartridges back. Um, I think it's good. I think it's going to be cool. Did you? Obviously, you're more of a more modern gamer. Do you have any experience of cartridge-based gaming?
Actually, the majority of my experience is with cartridge-based gaming. Thank you very much.
I'm shocked.
I grew up playing the NES and the SNES, as you call it,
The old sneeze.
N64. I didn't even start playing with PlayStation and CDs and all that until I was probably 11 or 12 years old. So
Oh, oh, okay.
thanks
And
for that, though.
we've learnt a valuable lesson here today, everybody. Don't assume things, even though you know that they will probably be right, because every now and again they are not. Moving
Um,
on.
I will say that I didn't think I'd ever see a cartridge console again, though.
So do I. I was shocked, and I did a little bit of research before we started, and I was sort of looking at when the last cartridge-based console, the support for it ended, and I discovered that the NES and the SNES, the Super NES, um, were both supported until 2003, which incidentally is a year after the N64 had its support stopped. So there was a serious lifespan of those consoles. They were
I'm
um,
surprised. I'm surprised that they had a longer support span than the N64 did.
yeah, I
Honestly,
was I was surprised by that as well. But yeah, no, they were great little games that you could get on there. A lot of them started out obviously as arcade machine classics. In case you're wondering, those are sort of machines that you used to have a whole like arcade, and they'd just be like these big machines with little keypads on, and you could play games. That was
did you
before.
know that arcades still exist?
Do they?
They do. There's one not far from where I live.
And in the next story, we will be doing an in-depth report on an arcade. Well, you will be because we don't have any in this country, so
Really? That's tragic.
yeah, no. I thought they were extinct. They were sort of like dinosaurs, but clearly not.
Just about every movie theater, at least in my city, has a arcade inside of it. So
Wow. I'm stunned.
Anyways, moving
Moving
on.
on.
In a slightly more festive news, sort of festive, it's New Year's-ish. We have the top 10 games on Google search from 2015. Do you have any guesses?
Fallout 4.
Yes, it's second.
Hey!
What do you think's in first?
I have no idea. I actually do have an idea, but because you've told me already, but I forgot what it was.
Yes, I relied on your short-term memory to have this script make sense. Thankful for that. Well, in number 10, we have Battlefield Hardline. Number 9 is Bloodborne. Please remember, guys, that these are just the games that have been searched on Google. This doesn't mean that these are necessarily the best games or highest quality games.
Hmm.
Um, Number 8 is NBA 2K16. Number 7, Madden 16. Number 6 is Pokemon Go. 4 is Call of 6. Where'd 5 go? There is no 5 on my list.
There's no 5.
Um, num Number 5 was another sports one. Don't remember what it was called. But
Oh,
4
FIFA,
is
wasn't it?
no,
NHL, whatever that's called.
nope,
Brian Lara's International Cricket.
nope.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't that because that's several years old.
Anyways,
Uh,
number 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Number 3, Mortal Kombat 10. Number 2, Fallout 4. And do you have a guess for number 1?
I've already said that you've already told me, but I forgot what it was. So no, I have
Okay.
no guess. Can I guess?
Yes.
Uh, how about Minecraft?
Nope. Minecraft didn't come out in 2015.
Of course it didn't. That was a stupid guess. What about Rocket League?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, I give up.
Agario.
I knew that, obviously, because you told me, but yeah.
Yeah. That's the top 9 searched games on Google of 2015. It was supposed to be 10, but one got lost.
It wasn't important, clearly.
Clearly.
Moving on. GameSpot have released their Game of the Year awards for 2015. In 10th place, Kerbal Space Program. I like that game.
I've not played it, but it looks absolutely fun and adorable.
Yes, it does. Number 9, Tales from the Borderlands, the Telltale story-driven game.
Anything by Telltale is good.
I've never actually played a Telltale game.
They're so good. You need to play one.
Number 8, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Good to see Tomb Raider back in the Game of the Years.
I gotta say, I thought that series was done, so it's nice to know that it's made a comeback.
It's brought things back around, haven't they? Number 7, Ori and the Blind Forest.
It looks so pretty.
Number 6.
I want to play that game so bad.
Number 6, and a game which probably deserves to be a lot higher, Fallout 4.
I think the main reason for it not being higher than it is mostly just it came out at the middle of November. The rewards came out at the beginning of December. They just didn't have enough time to enjoy the game to know for sure what it was like.
Well, clearly if they'd spent enough time to lose their jobs and lose their wife, then they would have done, and it would definitely have made number 1. Number 5, we have Super Mario Maker.
Yay!
It's good to see Mario back in the Game of the Year awards. Number 4 is Bloodborne. Number 3, sorry?
I've heard that Bloodborne's quite good.
I haven't heard anything about it whatsoever. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, which involves a dog and being able to tie people to balloons and send them up into space. Everyone's a winner in that game. Number 2, and one that's fully deserves to be number 1. If Fallout didn't win, it should have been this one. Number 2, Game of the Year was Rocket League.
Yay! Represent!
Yeah, fully. That should have been number 1. It was literally and is the best game in the world.
It is. It's wonderful. There's no better sports-related game ever.
The words just don't describe. If you haven't played Rocket League, go and play it because words don't describe how amazing.
Have you ever tried to describe what Rocket League is to somebody? It's
Yeah.
not easy.
Yeah, no, it's pretty simple. It's football with cars of rockets strapped to their back where you can fly and drive up the walls because the wheels are magnetized.
And then when you tell the person that, do they ever look at you funny?
Yes.
There you go.
Yep. Just go and play it, people, because it's genius. It's just Rocket League. And number one, the game of the year for 2015, at least according to GameSpot. Clearly, it's not with us because number two would have got that. Just saying. Uh, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
I know absolutely nothing about this game other than that it looks really nice.
It does
So
look really nice. I've heard lots about it. People say that it's fantastic. It can't be Rocket League fantastic though.
nothing is Rocket League
Nothing is
fantastic.
Rocket League fantastic.
Except for perhaps a Rocket League 2, which should become a thing eventually.
Yeah, well, Rocket League.
Not anytime in the near future.
What,
Maybe
but
5, 10 years from now. But
what a lot of people don't realize is that Rocket League is actually a sequel.
is
The
it?
Yes, the original game was something like Supersonic. I can't remember. Supersonic
That's their
something.
that's
Rocket
their
powered
problem.
battle cars.
That's their problem. They had a stupid name. That's why it was. That's why the most people only know about Rocket League because Rocket League sounds cool.
Yeah, true. Anyway, are we taking a break or are we gonna go straight on with it?
I think it's good to take a quick coffee break and then we'll come back for the releases.
Absolutely. We'll see you in a little bit.
Stay tuned. Well, welcome back to TFBN News. I'm your host Eskimolander, and we're gonna dive straight into the gaming releases for January of 2016. First up, we have Shooting Stars available on PC, Mac, and Linux. Amplitude available on PlayStation 4. Hardware Rivals available on PlayStation 4. Volume on PlayStation Vita. Lovely Planet on the Xbox One. Assassin's Creed Chronicles India on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the PC. The Banner Saga on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That Dragon Cancer on PC. Pro Basketball Manager 2016 on PC.
Woo!
Dragon Dogma Dark Arisen on PC. Zeros Xbox One. Blade and Soul on PC. Darkest Dungeon on PC. Resident Evil O on Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, and PC. Resident Evil Origins Collection, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC. Stardust Vanguards on PlayStation 4. Uh, Homeworld Deserts of Karak, I can't read my own writing, on PC.
Shuffle your
Final
papers.
Fantasy Final Fantasy Explorers on 3DS, Civilization Revolution 2 Plus on PlayStation Vita, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam on 3DS, Lego's Marvel's Avengers on Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Wii U, 3DS, PlayStation Vita, and PC, also known as Everything. The Witness on PlayStation 4 and PC, Slam on PC, Atelier, Eska, and Logi Plus Alchemist of the Dust Sky on PlayStation Vita. That's a mouthful. And
Wow.
Bombshell on PC. And lastly, This War of Mine is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Are there any games coming out that you're particularly excited for this coming month?
Marvel's Avengers. Just not a big fan of Avengers, but I just like Lego games, so they're always good.
I am a Lego game fan and I love the Avengers, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to um, Resident Evil O.
I was never much of a Resident Evil fan. Somewhat
I'm,
ironically, as a horror fan.
and somewhat ironically, as a horror game hating person, I actually like Resident Evil.
How interesting.
Um,
Um,
Also, Mario and Luigi's Paper Jam, whatever that is, it sounds interesting.
it sounds interesting. If I had a 3DS, I might be interested in it, but I don't have a 3DS and I just cannot be bothered to get one.
Fair enough. And also Final Fantasy coming to handheld. It's been a while since a Final Fantasy game has been on a handheld, I believe.
I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't know definitely, but I do think it has been a while. Not a big Final Fantasy fan though. So
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind a bit of Final Fantasy. Finally, the news that This War of Mine is out on PS4 and Xbox One. You've played This War of Mine?
yes, I've played it on PC. It's a fun game. The graphics are nice. It has a really nice eerie feeling to it, being that it's set in a war, which I think is nice for a post-apocalyptic situation, as most of them are zombies. So it's a nice change of pace. Although I will say, if I had any complaint about the game, it's the fact that it takes forever to do anything.
Oh.
As you don't have you can skip an entire day, but you can't speed up time throughout the day.
Ah.
And special events like neighbors and tradesmen and stuff like that only happen during the day.
Hmm.
So, but they don't always happen. So, what often ends up happening, at least in my case, is I end up sitting around for 15 minutes waiting for the day to end and nothing happening.
Ah, sounds interesting.
But the game's fun once you sort of start going. Once you've got things going, then you usually have stuff to do throughout the day. It's just the first couple of days when you don't have any supplies to do anything with. They're sort
Hmm.
of a little dragging on.
Hmm.
Next we have the reports that we've picked for last month. I picked Among the Sleep, and you picked Just Cause 3, if I'm correct, right?
I did, yes.
Would you like to go first with that?
Absolutely. I won't be needing this. Anyway, right, so my game was Just Cause 3. I have done a staggering amount of research on it. So Just Cause 3,
By
uh,
staggering, he means about 5 minutes of work right before we started recording.
that is actually quite a large overestimation of the amount of work that I've done in preparation for this story. So Just Cause 3, whoa! Sorry.
You alright?
Yes, my neck just broke and my head fell off. um,
Sounds painful.
uh, I'll be fine. It's
Look,
just a flesh wound.
I'll take you to the. I'll probably take you to the medic once we're done here.
Yeah, yeah.
Hurry up with the story.
So Just Cause 3 is the sequel to Just Cause 2. That's according to Wikipedia. I had to look that up. Just Cause 2 actually is the sequel to the original Just Cause game. What I can tell you about Just Cause 3 is that it's set on a Mediterranean island. Um, it involves large amounts of explosions, and the whole point of the series, I believe, is to blow stuff up. Um, you can fly around
And
in a wingsuit.
why exactly do you blow stuff up?
Reasons.
Damn it. Let's try again next time. Continue.
What? Okay.
You should have said just cause.
Oh, you. Yes, no, you blow stuff up. You can fly around on a wingsuit. That's quite original and fun. Apparently, I wouldn't know. I've never done it. There is a wide variety of weapons. The one criticism that I've heard people say about this game is that the actual stories are fairly generic, and the story missions, sorry, are fairly generic, and there's not a whole lot of depth to them. Um, but yeah, I would still say that it's going to be a game that's worth checking out. Apparently, it's got a whole lot of the fun factor. Um, so yeah, that's my review. And now to you, who was reviewing.
Among the Sleep.
Okay.
Console edition, as it turns out. Um, Among the Sleep is a first-person horror adventure game developed by Krillbyte Studio. It has been available for PC, Mac, and Linux since May 2014, so just about 2 years. But recently became available for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in December of last year, 2015. The game is played through the eyes of a toddler who has woken up and escaped his crib in the middle of the night. Uh, from there, the players must surpass the child's some fairly disturbing imagination to first find Teddy, who is the toddler's sentient teddy bear, and then they have to find the mother through a series of finding memories that serve as puzzle pieces. Once there's four of them, once you found all four, you then find the mom.
Hmm.
Throughout this process, the toddler is chased by two different monsters. A feminine figure in the first three levels, and then a trench coat figure in the final. You cannot outrun or fight these monsters. The only thing you can do is hide and wait for them to pass you. It I really think it seems like an interesting game. It's right up my alley as being sort of a horror movie sort of enthusiast. Um, I also think it brings an interesting dynamic to the horror genre, though, as well, being that most horror games are ghost-based or monster-based or serial killer-based or something along those lines. Tends to have something to do with the paranormal. Well, this is doesn't have anything to do with any of those. It's just seems like it's the child who's had a nightmare and is now having strange imagination
Hmm.
happen as he's walking through his house in the middle of the night, which I remember as a child I'd often see things that were like completely harmless that I thought were going to kill me.
Hmm.
That's just what kids do.
Hmm.
It's a well-known fact that children will complain about the monsters in their closet when in fact it's just a sweater.
Hmm. Apart from that one
But
time when there actually was someone in the closet, that was scary. That
I
never
feel like
actually happened.
that's something you need to talk to a therapist about.
I did, but she
I
didn't
don't
believe
have
me.
I don't quite have the qualification for that, I'm afraid. Anyways, continuing on. I think that using the imagination to convey the story, I think, was a really good idea. It really makes it so that you can have basically any scenario occur without people complaining about anything like physics or that wasn't very realistic, because of course it's not. It's imagination. It doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't really need to make sense.
Hmm.
And it also makes it so that you can really sort of feel the emotion and what's happening in the child's head in the situation, because what you're seeing is what that kid's thinking. So
Hmm.
I think it's a really good method to drive things forward. That's basically all I have to say about the game. Normally, this is the part where we would say what game we're going to do a report on next month, but with the new year, we have decided, as you can tell, we have a new studio, uh, a new a new outline, and with the new outline, we've decided to add a new section to the TFBN news, which we are going to be calling the Spotlight. We do not have one this month, but as of next month, instead of doing reports, we will be doing the TFBN News Spotlight, which can be, it'll change depending on the month. It normally will probably be a game that we think is especially good. It doesn't have to be a game that was out that month, or a game we've played a lot. It could be information about our channel, or just a very interesting news story or something along those lines.
Hmm. The upcoming spotlight will be
It's going to be Unturned.
okay.
And that was TFBN News. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned next month for our spotlight on the on our spotlight on TFBN News, of course. Thanks for watching, guys. I've decided to leave work early. Have a great day. See you next month.
Goodbye.